What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Overreaction Monday show right here on Orange Bloods Live. I'm Jeff Ketchum. That is Anwar Richardson. He is back from Mississippi State and not a moment too soon. This video brought to you by the amazing people at RogueShop.com. They take Apple Pay now, just in case you were wondering about your methods for being able to get your favorite product. It's real simple. Go to RogueShop.com. Check it out. Just have some fun. Go shopping. Use that promo code OrangeBloods. You'll get a discount. It's like 10%. And then your life just gets a little bit better, whether it's nausea or sleeplessness, or you just want a little bit of a buzz, whatever it is that you might be looking for. Your pets, your mom, your grandmom, everybody's got a purpose. Everybody has a use. You can find it at RogueShop.com. Anwar, this is going to be a week. And by the way, everybody jump into the Specs chat it up. We'll take your super chats, but send a larger amount if you want us to literally stop the show, not if you want us to eventually get to you. It's Matthew Caldwell week in Arch Manning probable concussion watch week. Feels like after the aftermath of whatever Saturday was, which was one of the great fourth quarter comebacks to almost one of the worst losses. You know what I mean? Like, boy, it's an interesting gray area this team lives in, but we show up on Monday. Steve Sarkisian and the players will meet with the media in a few hours. This is normally the day that Arch Manning meets with the media. My guess is that he won't. My guess is that he's going to be questionable this week, and I don't know what they're going to admit and what they're not going to admit, but we're going to be talking about Matthew Caldwell. We're going to be talking about Arch Manning. We're going to be talking about one of the probable big games of the college football weekend is Saturday at DKR between ranked Texas and top 10 Vanderbilt. It makes for some interesting, fascinating conversation on a Monday, the least of which I don't think is there is a population of Texas fans that believe that Texas is upgrading at quarterback if Matthew Caldwell starts on Saturday. And we sure as hell have to talk about that. That feels like the ultimate overreaction Monday hot take. So why wouldn't we discuss it? But before we do that, you think this afternoon, 11 o'clock, and then presumably then like around noon when the players would start to file in, it's a no Arch Manning Monday, right?
Yeah, I think it is an Arch Monday. And if I'm Sark.
But he can't if he's recovering from a concussion.
Can't be Arch if he's recovering, right?
Like that is the telltale sign.
But if I'm Sark, I'm playing this game though. You know, Sark is the ultimate, like, I don't want to reveal kind of thing, you know, injuries kind of guy. If I was Sark, I would, even if Arch didn't have a concussion, I wouldn't have him out there. This would be the ultimate week to play a game of chicken with Vanderbilt and do that thing that coaches like to do, which is, hey, I want them to prepare for both quarterbacks. And so if I'm Sark, I'm probably vague about the Arch thing. I'm not encouraging him to, by the way. I hope he's not getting any ideas. Hope he's in practice and no one's going to relay that to him. But I would be a little bit vague about the whole situation and say, you know, yeah, he's hurt, blah, blah, blah. You know, Sark can or cannot say, you know, he hasn't always been specific about body parts and what body part is ailing what guys at what time, right? So, but this will be the Arch week, and because it's, you know, look, there's only 4 games left in the season. You know, they've got 3 ranked opponents left on the schedule, 3 out of 4. As you mentioned, Vanderbilt is a first opponent. And yes, if you get past Vandy and go into the bye, you get a chance to heal up and get good. So, but this is the week where Arch is coming off of his best second half performance of a game, and so at least fourth quarter performance. But fourth quarter is including the second half. But yeah, it will be the thing that we're talking about. It'll be the thing that we're monitoring throughout the week, the injury reports, and it's going to be the thing on Saturday morning. Everybody's asking me, is he out there? Do you see him warming up? Like all those kind of things. It is Arch week.
I have to believe he's in the protocol for concussions. It was being whispered about yesterday. If he's in concussion protocol, he cannot show up today because of the lights and everything. So this is normally his day to meet with the media.
Yes.
He does not miss Mondays. In fact, we noted in real time last Monday that it was odd that Michael Taft wasn't at the Monday press conference, and then it turned out, well, because he had a thumb injury.
Yeah, he had surgery that day. Sorry.
But you absolutely noticed it in real time. We had a conversation about it. We didn't know quite why, but it was like, dude, Michael Taft is always here, and he's not here today. And then the very next day, it was like, oh, because he has a thumb injury and is out for at least a week. So like today, I don't think Sark will be real specific with the injuries, but if it's concussion protocol, and I think there's a good chance that it is, everybody saw what happened. Like, we saw it. We just did. And in fact, I think there should have been a targeting look at that play after it happened. In real time, I thought it was a potential cheap shot. It's helmet to helmet, and then his head bangs on the ground, and then he looks like he's dazed and confused. So in reality, Sark can be genuinely, because there's no way of knowing in 2 days will Arch still have any symptoms at all, because if he does, like, the clock starts. And so there is a huge bit of it, assuming that he's in the protocol. And look, I guess this is all a moot point if Arch shows up today, and they will be asked about it, and it would be interesting to see how that would be navigated. But if there's a world where he's unavailable, then they go into this week not really knowing what they have. It probably would be a decision that's made in the last 48 hours. And if I had to guess, if that's actually what Arch is going through, I think Matthew Caldwell probably starts on Saturday. I've been wrong. You and I have done more concussion shows over the first 11 years that we've worked together. By the way, like, we're going to be creeping up on like a decade and a half at some point. Like, that's just crazy. Yeah. We've done these shows before. Like, you and I don't have to do the concussion show, but you and I both know that we prefer to call these brain injuries.
Yes.
You and I both know that I think you and I always lean on the side of precaution. We know that Arch will want to play. We know that the family will want to look at this from a bigger picture. We know that there's never like an absolute right answer. There will be different people who are like, kid wants to play, says he's fine, let him play. There will be some people who are like, maybe he shouldn't play the rest of the season. There will be some people who just shrug their shoulders and go, I don't know, but it always kind of makes me ick. That's usually me, by the way. Yeah. But I feel like we've done this before. We know what, like you said, by the time you get to Thursday, it's like, well, did he participate? Well, what does participate mean? Did he have a red jersey on? Did he actually put a helmet on? Did they allow him to go outside? Like, this is the week I think we have in front of us, unless it gets, Sark shows up at 11 o'clock, says, oh, Arch is cool. Like, I know what it looked like, but he's fine. And he'll be here in like 45 minutes, and you can ask him yourself. At which point, okay, well, Arch is a starter. But man, my spidey senses have told me since that happened that what we think we watched, we probably watched. And so here we go. It's one of those.
Yeah, Catch. I mean, look, I've heard some things. I was in, transit for most of yesterday, so everything was through text. I've heard some things, but not enough concrete stuff that I feel like, okay, I'm going to run with that. Like, to your point, like the whispers of it. In your point, look, brain injuries are tricky. They are. First you hate it, because usually once you get one, it's easier to get the second, and then it becomes easier to get the third and the fourth, and so on and so forth. And so you hate that portion, of it for Arch. It sucks because one of the things that we can't put it 100% on the line, but one of the things is, Catch, I've been saying for weeks, man, these guys don't protect this dude. He ain't going to survive much longer, man. Like, I've been saying this for weeks. Like, he's getting hit after hit. He's getting hit too much. The body can only take so long. Man, a few weeks, I said, man, Quinn would have been done by now.
And there was no knock on Quinn. Like, this is everybody, man. Like,
yes. Yeah. But Quinn was a smaller guy. in stature, right? And Arch was a bigger guy in stature. He was taking it, but again, you could see it coming. You're like, man, can't keep taking these hits, man. This cannot continue to happen. Lo and behold, it continued to happen, and then the thing happened. The dam finally breaks. You're like, like this. You can see this whole thing coming. And now just because, like you said, there's this interesting thing, Catch, because like at the end of the day, do you say like, hey man, if you're good, or you feel like you're good, then we only need you for 1 week, and then like you get a bye week, and that. But you could also say, shoot, maybe if we could get by Matthew Caldwell for a week and let Arch rest for 2 weeks, then we've got him down for the home stretch, and then hopefully playoffs and all those other things, right? And we'll get into the Matthew Caldwell conversation because I do have some thoughts on that.
Real quick, Lane for $20. He says Sark ain't giving Vandy anything early this week.
Sark and injuries, we already know what time it is with that one. So I can't imagine. I'd be shocked if he just came and was like, even if he was cleared, I'd be shocked if he was like, man, I'm just gonna let Vanderbilt know today what to prepare for. Like I see Sark more like a little, he got hit. We're still working it out, talking to the doctors and the trainers. We'll have an injury report out on Wednesday.
I just think you can do more. He could literally have lost his leg in a war, and you could go, "Wow, look, they're putting prosthetics on him right now." Like he's questionable. Like it might be a true game time decision. It does feel like with concussions and the brain injury, though, that if that's what it is, then to acknowledge it today is to acknowledge that like there's a process and there's really not anything he can do to control it. It literally is in the doctor's hands with regards to the protocol and like how many days a guy has to go without symptoms and just kind of how they treat that. A player can come back and play in less than a week. Mm-hmm. We've seen it happen. The margin of error, though, is really slight. If you're off by a day, you're probably not playing. And Anwar, you're not wrong in the sense that if they don't play this weekend, that he does get a second week, and it's 2 weeks until Georgia. And I don't know, in general, that sounds better than like 6 days later, 7 days later, pushing the envelope. But this game is probably the most important game of the season. Like it's the next most important game of the season. But there are no more important games of the season, really, if you're 6-3 at the end of this game and probably not even in the top 25 anymore, given that voters just don't seem to be impressed with anything that Texas does.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not even saying that's unfair. I'm just saying I don't even know that Texas is being judged the same as other teams with 2 losses. I think that there's a little bit of some number one preseason baggage that follows this team. And Texas can win the same way against the same team that Tennessee did. And yet it's not, I don't think, viewed the same way. Let's talk about Caldwell for a second. Sailor Joe, I see your super chat. We'll get to it. I see it's about Caldwell. So like, that's where I wanted to go. The Matthew Caldwell thing of this is really interesting to me because there is a sizable portion. I've seen it since he came on the field for the Florida game and threw that one pass. It was like, he's amazing. There are a lot of Texas. I shouldn't say that. There is a portion of Texas fans that believe that this has a chance to be like an upgrade for Texas. I'm curious before I go like heavy into my thoughts on that, your initial reaction to the idea of, well, if Arch is out, this is really an opportunity for Texas to be better at quarterback for at least a week.
My thought process is a little bit different than I think what most people are framing it. I would frame it differently. People think more so upside. I think floor. I'm thinking more so, what's Matthew Caldwell's floor? Because if his floor is as equal to what we've seen Arch's floor be this season, and Texas can still pull out a victory, then no problem. It's okay. The thing that for me is, but if his floor ends up being lower than Arch's floor that we've seen this season, then I'm like, ugh. I don't think of it as the whole backup coming in and being better than the starter kind of conversation. Like I know that's what people think. They're looking at the key throws and thinking, well, if he's made those key throws coming off the bench, and what could it look like, so on and so forth. And I think you can do those mental gymnastics, right? Because we did that with Gerard Hurd, Tyrone Swoops, right? And Gerard Hurd comes in and looks fantastic against Cal. And you think to yourself, damn it, man, like, look at what's about to happen. And then teams got tape on Gerard Hurd, and it just progressively got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse until they had to throw Swoops back in, right? And so I don't look at it like, oh, man, can he come in and this offense be as dynamic, more dynamic than it was? Can he hit the receivers? Can he do all these things? I just more look at it for me, Catch, and you may have a different take on it. It's more like, okay, can he do a quarterback rating of $140, right? Can you get away with $140 and win with Matthew Caldwell? And I'm like, well, if his floor is, if all things are equal, but with this defense and making a few key plays, you might be okay. But I can't necessarily sit here and say I think he'll be an instant upgrade to Arch.
I think it's ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. The mere suggestion of it, like anybody that would say, nothing has made me just think people are just fucking stupid than the notion that the Texas offense gets better with a swap in quarterbacks that makes the running game not as good. It puts a quarterback who's less mobile in a pocket that, quite frankly, some mobility could be needed. And it's doing all of that while leaning on a player that wasn't good at Troy last year. This is a guy who's 2 seasons removed from having a 105 quarterback rating at Gardner-Webb or something. It was like 111 the year before that. It was like 109. I mean, this is like Case McCoy at his absolute worst. We're talking levels of play at the lowest possible levels of play. His best game against a team with a pulse last year was at Iowa, where he was at 135.3. This is a guy that against a Power 4 team. Against Iowa last year, he ran for negative 24 yards in that game. He's not mobile. He is this offense in every way. Now look, and then the thing is, Texas fans have seen him throw the ball 11 times. He's 8 of 11. And what I wouldn't do is dismiss the quality of those 11 reps. But Steve Sarkisian's never once given any idea to the notion that Matthew Caldwell needs to play ahead of Arch Manning for a reason. Like, it's never crossed his mind to bench him. Never. We never heard in spring workouts that Matthew Caldwell was like great. He was just better and not automatically even better than KJ Lacey, but KJ Lacey, they went to redshirt. I've always said that if Arch Manning were out for a really extended period of time, that maybe your best option is KJ Lacey. I think you go into the game next week with Matthew Caldwell at quarterback. By the way, surrounded by a bad offensive line, running backs that you just can't count on to get you more than 3 yards a carry in any given game, wide receivers that drop too many passes, a tight end that averages like 7 yards a catch every time he touches the ball in games that matter. Like, it's not like last year's offenses would be surrounding him. You are not more likely to beat Vanderbilt this weekend if Matthew Caldwell plays instead of Arch Manning. It's just ludicrous. Whatever Arch hasn't been, and to be transparent, good, Not always the right word. Certainly not always very good, although I think we could look at last week in the second half and say, he was very good. Not great, but very good, sure. Florida game, Oklahoma game, Mississippi State game. 3 games in the month of October, surrounded by that little Kentucky thing. 4 games in the month of October. In 3 of those 4 games, Arch Manning was the best part about the offense, period. He was the best part about the Florida game. He was the best part of Saturday night. And he was the best part of the Oklahoma game. I mean, people were talking about how many NFL throws he made in that game. The idea that the best offensive thing that Texas has had going for it in 3 of the last 4 games, all away from home, you could just easily take that away. And the guy who's coming in as an upgrade, because every time we've seen this offense this year need to replace a starter, whether it be at running back, whether it be at, left guard, whether it be at center. Like, we all have come to appreciate the hell out of Cole Hudson. All it took was us to see what it looks like. Oh, when you go to the guy behind the guy, it's not as good. There's nowhere on this team. We saw it on defense this weekend with Michael Taft. You're not better. It doesn't matter that the backup was a 5-star prospect. Michael Taft is Michael Taft for a reason. It's the idea that, and I'm not dismissing the idea that he couldn't play a good game, but to make the offense better, like he literally brings to the table a skill set that by definition makes the offense worse.
Yeah, I mean, look, if he was better, then he'd be playing, right? And I think I think it is what it is. And if he was better than that, we would have seen it prior to this. It's not like there's some sort of magic bean pill that somehow, some way, Matthew Caldwell, who's kind of just been a guy in college, somehow is an upgrade over Arch Manning in the biggest game of his life. I mean, that just against Vanderbilt, Clark Lee, like all those guys, like that's not going to happen, right? And so now that's why I keep saying your only hope is if he plays that he's just not bad over 4 quarters.
You need everybody else to pick it up, man.
Correct. Like you're going to have to carry this guy. And look, does he have a good arm? Yes.
Yes.
Does he have some accuracy? Yes. But have you seen it over 4 quarters? No. And the one thing, look, you know what? What happens a lot in the NFL, Catch? It happens in college too. There'll be a backup come in for the starter in the middle of a game, and he'll do really well. And everyone will say, well, what about that guy? Maybe he should be the guy that's playing. Yeah. And then maybe the guy plays like another game. They're like, listen, why spend all this money on the starter? This guy is the guy. And it doesn't take long before that person is exposed. And you're like, oh, well, that's why he's the backup.
Well, my fear is that this guy has tape and the Vanderbilt coaches are watching the Troy tape from last year. And they're going, oh, this is what teams did? Okay, cool. Like, I don't think it's rocket science. This was a guy that played a lot last year at Troy. So it's not like he doesn't have experience. He just wasn't very good. He wasn't going to be the starting quarterback at Troy. Last year, he threw 13 touchdowns. He threw 8 interceptions. He ran for 47 yards on 48 carries.
I
think the thing is, he was always a steady hand if you need a guy in a moment. And look, I think the story of Matthew Caldwell on Saturday is a Disney movie. Oh, this is his 4th school. He really has almost no right to be here. And yet he's here. And by God, he may start in front of 100,000 people on Saturday. And in a game that it is a Disney movie. But do you know why they don't release 50 Disney movies a year? Because the Disney movie doesn't always happen, man. Sometimes in October, Halloween lasts one more extra day. And, like I'll have my fingers crossed. I'll be rooting for him. I will. I mean, I want this team to win. I don't want to show up next Monday and do a show going into a bye week where Texas is 6-3. So like, I will be captain of the Matthew Caldwell brigade. I'm just saying, realistically, like we have to just use our brains on this. And we wouldn't do it really with any other position on the field other than abject desperation, right? Whoever's better, whoever is the backup at left guard has to be better than what they're putting. We've said that all season long. In fact, they've now recycled that position to such an extent that Connor Stroh is back out there. And it wasn't but just a couple of weeks ago we were saying anybody but Connor Stroh, anybody would be better than him. So then they put somebody else in, and then they went, well, maybe not anybody is better than Connor Stroh. There's nowhere on this team where you're taking the starter out, putting the backup in, and going, hot damn, that guy might have gotten Wally pipped. All I'm saying is maybe we shouldn't just do it for the quarterback position because Arch has been so easy, I think, to throw stones at because he hasn't been great, because he hasn't even been very good most of the time, because he's been so average. It's easy to think, Anwar, like you said, that the ceiling goes beyond what Arch's ceiling so far has been this season. The problem is when you look at his body of work, the floor suggests a much lower floor than I think Arch would walk into the game on Saturday with.
Yeah. Lane came in for another 20 spot. You want to knock him out real quick?
Yeah. Come on, Lane. Is Sark an upgrade? Look, is Sark an upgrade over Caldwell's last QB coach? Lane, what I would say is his last quarterback coach is benched him. And no, because if you look at quarterback rating, his quarterback rating under Sark is better. So I would have to say, got to give Sark, who I don't even know who the last guy is, but all I can say is I think he's okay. Did we miss any other super chats?
There was one. There was a 5.
I saw this one from Brad, $1.99. Brad, you're lucky I'm even putting this on there, $1.99. Thank you. Caldwell is Mac Jones. He's not, though. Mac Jones was like a real recruit. It was a 4-year guy. They brought him in. He was a scholarship athlete. They're not the same thing. They're just not.
And then Sailor Joe was the other one, catch.
Do you think the team can rally behind Caldwell like how GA rallied behind Stockton? A backup quarterback can inject life and a fire under a team. I mean, you know how that ended for Gunnar Stockton, right?
Yeah.
Like the equivalent of that is the playoff game where Stockton made his first start last year and Georgia's season came to an end. The parallel would be that Caldwell came in like Stockton, essentially late in the game in overtime, and helped make the game-winning play. But it's a different thing to put that dude in his starting lineup. And what I would say about at least what Georgia had going with them with Stockton is that he had no film. Caldwell has film. You're crazy. Anybody out there, you're crazy if you think it won't occur to the Vanderbilt staff. Oh, what? We may have to prepare for the backup? There's film of him starting a bunch of games last year at Troy State. Do I want to watch that? Nah, we're good. That is not happening. It's just not. So it'd be like the equivalent if he was the starting quarterback for Texas in the opener and having game film and an opposing coaching staff saying, wait, he played in November? No, we'll wing it. We're good. It's just, they will know what has worked against him. And again, Caldwell's just look, if Texas doesn't offer Caldwell, I don't know that Caldwell's playing college football this year. Maybe at Troy. Maybe. But, this is the guy that had played. I think this is his sixth. He has. And here's the other thing about Caldwell. This is also part of what makes it the Disney movie. This dude has 4 games left in his life, not including whatever Texas would do in a postseason. That's it. There's no more football after this unless he sues the NCAA, which, hey, He'll be playing a guy this weekend. He could have a conversation with him.
Exchange the lawyer information, right?
Yeah, like he may say, look, I'll kind of dig this. I've had a good time. Maybe I outplayed you today. Give me your lawyer's number. I don't know. I got to be honest. I don't have a real strong opinion of Caldwell other than I know what his track record is. I know how I would feel if that was any other position on the field. It'd be like you saw, it's a little bit like we saw the walk-on running back whose name is escaping me right now, but the Page kid, Colin Page.
Colin Page, yeah. Came
in last year, got a little bit of playing time, averaged 5.5 yards per carry in the game. And we look at that. I have joked, nobody on the team averages more per carry in his college career than Colin Page does. But it would be like someone saw the numbers, and then was like, Colin Page should be the starting running back at Texas. Why won't Texas put him in the game? And it's like, well, it's not the same thing. He's not the same. What I don't know about Caldwell is like, really, is he at this level? That throw on Saturday, man, it makes you think he could be. The throw he made against Florida where he came in for a play and just threw that ball on a rope. I think that was to Livingston, if I remember correctly. Like that it looked the part, but he's thrown the ball 11 times at Texas so far in his career. He threw the ball 223 times last year at Troy. We have a sample size. His last career starts, 127 passer efficiency against Southern Miss, and a 129 passer efficiency at Louisiana. He had an 80. His floor, Anwar, in a home game last year, he put up an 89.9 to Texas State. I mean, That's it. What I'm saying is like, I think there's a sense that he'll be a steady hand. I think there's at least as good a chance as KJ Lacey has to come in on Saturday and play for performance-related reasons than there is that Caldwell puts up the single best passing game performance of the season for the team in this game. Like I think there's a much better chance that you could get to the second quarter and it's a 3-3 game and the offense hasn't come close to looking like they're going to get a touchdown. And if you're Sark, you're like, our season is literally on the line. This ain't about show Caldwell, it's show business. I mean, I think everything's on the table if, hell, maybe even some wildcat if they don't have Arch this weekend. It changes everything about, I think, the way they will have to approach the offense. You won't be able to ask Caldwell to give you really off-schedule run plays. You can't run power with the quarterback, which is something that we know this team occasionally likes to do that. Like the offense changes and everybody around him will have to step up. And I think that conversation has to start today. They'll know today coming out of this morning's practice, was Arch able to practice or not? No, because he's in protocol. Caldwell might have to play. Everybody will know what that's code for. The disappointing thing would be is if they all didn't show up and raise their level of play, knowing how much it's needed. It feels like they've spent so much of this season on offense waiting for Arch to do something, to bail them out some way. This would be really, and I think you'd even if Arch plays on Saturday, I think some of that permeates throughout this team. If Caldwell plays, man, like Ryan Wingo has to show up and be like, man, no drop balls today. Not on my watch, not today, can't afford them. Like the whole team has to have an attitude that if they don't raise their level of play, they won't win.
Well, before he does something, that whole offensive line has to say, hey, we might need to do this this week. Like we can't, this a little bit's on us. Like we got to take some pride in this thing. Probably.
Would you start Stroh?
I mean, if I'm basing it on, probably.
I mean, he was pretty good
I was going to say, if I'm basing it off of what happened in the second half, then sure. Yeah. I mean, first of all, I'm just tired of the Neto conversation. I can't do this every week. I saw another thread on Orange Buzz. I'm like, how many times I got to ask that question? But yeah,
I do want to know what a guy had to do to not get thrown off the team, but never get used in a break glass emergency situation. Like it is a unique. I don't know. And look, for those that are wondering, Sark has been asked about this. Not like if Anwar shows up today and y'all are like, Anwar, ask the Neto question. It's the one the internet's dying to have answered. We can already tell you how this is going to go. It's been asked before. Sark will say, Anwar, do you want to tell him? It's a consistency issue.
Correct. Do a shot.
Look, that is all we're going to get. It is, people have tried to ask that question, and he has answered it. And I'm just telling you, there's no other answer. In fact, he would say, you guys asked this question a couple of weeks ago. Nothing has changed. It's a consistency issue. And then he might even throw in there do you think we're trying to not be good up front offensively on purpose? There may be a level of snark that's like, why are you asking me this? Are you trying to tell me that you know that he's better than the guy? You know what I mean? Like, careful, guys. I'm just letting you know. Maybe don't poke the hornet's nest today with Neto.
Someone's going to ask. So there'll be enough wasted questions today, Catch, where that's going to there will be enough. There will be now. I am looking forward to whatever Terry Milden's question is going to be, because that long wind up before the delivery, like he's got that Satchel Paige wind up of a question. He's like way down here before he finally releases it. So I want to know what book analogy / music analogy / you are the alpha and omega analogy that he's got for this team. So
no, it's going to be like, look, Sark, I don't know if you've seen the new Bruce Springsteen movie that is out in the theaters, but the movie is about the making of the album Nebraska. And the thing about Nebraska, Sark, was that he was going for a non-mainstream, non-pop, non-like single sound. When you look at this offense, is that kind of the way that you look at it? That it's your Nebraska album, that it doesn't have a lot of hits, but at the end of the year, it might be your most rewarding album? There we go. There.
And you know what? That's so good. And the thing is, I'll give you credit. Sart listens to it, and he never blinks. He's like, "Yeah, man." So yes, it kind of feels like that, right? He'll roll with it. He will roll with it.
I made that up off the cuff. Terry, you got to raise it. I just gave you. I have set the bar for what has to be cleared today.
I've told Terry before, be unapologetically yourself.
That's what I said. Look, that's why I threw out. I gave him some material. The Nebraska album.
Yes.
Lane threw another 20 out there. Just said Anwar asked Sark. Now look, the question, Lane, is: does Anwar have a price? Mm-hmm. He probably does. It's just not on this super chat.
No. Because the thing is, I only get one. Okay, and so my one has to be something that counts, and that that doesn't count. Like, I'm not that is too much of a waste of a question. I appreciate the thought, but it's kind of a waste of a question. Like, I've got to get in. Unfortunately, I strive for a bigger picture question that I ask on Monday. I do something specific. Catch, I want to get 3 questions a week. One on Monday, one on Thursday, and one after the game. That's it. So I can't necessarily get in the weeds of, hey, like, what did you think about LaFowl? Like, I'm like, no, listen, that's cool. I need something better than that. And I can't, and I don't know what the price is, but I can't put a price, because if someone drops $500, they're going to say, I want you to ask Sark, why won't you effing do this and effing do that? And I just gave you $500 on where you ask it like that. Nah, I can't do that.
Like I said, I don't think the number exists on the option. Is what I was saying. It's not high enough.
That's not. It's not high enough for me to be a puppet. No. And by the way, can I tell you one of the things that you don't know this? I get heading into over the weekends, Sundays, Mondays. It starts with Saturday. There's always a on you need to ask Sark thread on Orange Bloods, and it ends up being 3 pages long. And I'm like, dude, I get one. And then catch. People will DM me. People will DM me on X. I've seen DMs on Instagram, Facebook. Please ask Sark this. Can you ask Sark that? Now, I don't, just so we're clear, like I don't let Texas fans on my Instagram or my Facebook. That's me. That's for my friends and family. But people literally hunt me out to tell me, I want you to ask Sark this particular question.
Anwar, I'm going to insult you even more. I get at least a couple a week from people who message me to say, can you pass this along to Anwar? And I just, sure. But I
can't. And it's like, and sometimes I get demands from people who are like, you need to ask him this. Thanks. I'm like, bitch, I don't work for you. Like, what are you talking about? Like, did you just tell me what to do? And it's like, no, I'm gonna.
They always ask it in like the most insulting. Yeah. One of the things about last week that you got a lot of plaudits for was that you asked a really sensitive question in a really polite way, so that it didn't sound like you were. And Sark notices when he thinks guys have twisted the knife on a question.
Yeah.
In fact, it's kind of one of my favorite things about Sark is sometimes I don't think he's right, and sometimes he don't care. If he feels like, you know what, you asked that third down percentage question with a little too much glee in your voice. Don't think I didn't notice that. Like, he's got a little bit of that in him. And people don't realize that, like, bedside manner is almost, maybe it's not the most important thing, right? There's integrity. There's a list of things that are really, really important, right? But bedside manner, it's like you want your doctor to be smart and a great doctor before he's the most charming guy in the room. Mm-hmm. But once you check a couple of boxes, you do get to the part where you're like, hey, is he an asshole or not? It's like, no, like he makes you feel really good no matter what's going on. And like, he's so nice. He feels like a lifelong friend every time I meet with him. And you're like, oh, I want that guy as my doctor. I literally have one of my kids have a doctor right now whose bedside manner is terrible. And it's like, yeah, but we still have to listen to him, even if the kids are afraid of him. Like the advice is still doctor's advice. And I feel like people not only want you to go in on more and like ask the question, they want you to be a dick while you do it. Like they want you dripping with snark.
And the thing is, if I did that, none of those people would defend me. When the baskets came with pitchforks and everything, they're like, oh, that a-hole, he's a whatever. And nobody going to stand up and say, no. This is exactly what the masses wanted this. Everybody's going to take a step backwards and leave me there by myself. And I know this. That's why
I'm knocking on the door. Hey, man, the mob is after me with the pitchforks. Can I come inside and hide for a little bit?
They're like,
hey, man, like I appreciate what's up, but like we got company over. The wife invited a friend. We're playing some Scrabble. Like, it's not a good time.
Oh, yeah. Dude, there's been times, Catch, where, like, everybody's cool, and then they feel like, oh, maybe I asked it, or, once a year, Sark and I do a back and forth thing. And then, like, everybody, people, like, rock with me one week. The next week, like, that guy. And I'm like, nah. F you. I know you guys won't stand behind me, so no, I'm not doing anything crazy.
You know what's funny is we always joke that you and I have a once-a-year thing too.
Uh-huh.
All that's really good unless you have like 26 once-a-year things.
Yes.
It's like, how many do you have? I got like 5. And you're like, okay, that's like one every 10 weeks. That sounds good. It's like, how many of those do you have? I don't know. I lost count. It's like, oh, well, that's probably not good.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man. I put my phone on airplane mode and it just doesn't care. South End Zone Queen.
It still rings, by the way, in airplane mode. I learned that actually a couple of years ago, Catch. So, because I was having trouble connecting, like making calls inside the house, and the tech person was like, "Hey, no, you need to put it on airplane mode in the house, and then it would lock into your internet better than it roaming inside." So I connect to my internet when I'm in the house. I put it on airplane mode, and then I actually can have clear calls. It actually zones it in. It doesn't block it out. I know. Sounds crazy. It doesn't block it out though. And this is what they told me at the store to do. And as soon as I went back home and did that, I never had dropped calls in the house again.
So South End Zone Queen, before I get to your question, both of them. I woke up this morning. I kid you not. It's like 5:30 in the morning. And I grabbed my phone, and the first thing that popped up was a notification that South End Zone Queen had a story that was expiring soon. So I clicked on it because, I mean, surely I needed to see. And I don't know where South End Zone Queen is right now, but she's in the sun somewhere. This is like a beach photo. It's just like, oh, there she goes again. World traveler to someplace. She's just showing off. She's just showing off. Like, I'm here and you're not. You're wherever you are, working way too hard, and life can be better. Maybe join me. So South End Zone Queen, I see you. I just want you to know that for $4.99.
To be fair, she is a doctor. Like,
no, I know.
And she had like, she's moved back, but she had like a huge practice. So like she worked. She's
my hero.
Oh yeah, like I'm not saying you did anything disparaging. She worked her ass off, and so like right now she's like, yo, we're going to live our best life right now.
Because you and I have conversations all the time where we're like, we're working too much, and like, what's the point of all this if like I'm not going to spend time with my kids and like be involved in this or that? She's the queen, literally, of putting her money where her mouth is with regards to why the hell would I even do all this if I can't go to Europe, or I can't go to a place where there's palm trees, or I can't look fantastic. Like she's South End Zone Queen. You just keep doing it. For $4.99, you're an inspiration. Can the blocking sled sub in and snap the ball asking for a friend? That's next. That's next.
I mean, okay. I get sarcasm. I get it.
Lane just wanted to know, maybe Caldwell could eat some enchiladas with you, Catch. Lane, here's the thing. I got Matthew Caldwell covered. I'm 3-0.
3-0. Enchiladas are 3-0.
Enchiladas are 3-0. In fact, I had enchiladas at 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday because I would take no chances that Papacitos you guys are the ones that said it wasn't an enchilada. Papacito said it was. I don't know well enough to know. It's a restaurant. I asked for enchiladas. That's what they brought out. I took a picture, thought I was good. I'm so committed to the bit. I had them on 8 o'clock Saturday morning. Take no chances, 3-0. Matthew's cool unless he wants some. He can have some, but like, I think Michelle and I have this thing covered. Remember, this just started with Michelle and I getting a little hoity-toity and saying that we would have enchiladas if Texas won the national championship.
Mm.
Who the hell were we to act like we were so good that the enchiladas would wait for this once-a-century occurrence? No, we made it right. The Tex-Mex gods are no longer mad, we hope. We hope this thing continues.
You know what? At least this developed better than the red shirt that you had during that Alabama year, because that started out as anger against you, and then they won, and then it switched into, well, now you got to do it all the time. At least this is more positive, because I can't believe you got shit for literally wearing a shirt one day. They're like, I can't believe you showed up wearing a red shirt. It's Alabama week. What the hell?
The funny thing about that Friday, I went to a sporting goods shop and I bought an OU jersey, an Alabama jersey, and an A&M jersey, and I held them up side by side, one at a time, with that shirt. Still, nobody cared. Still, it didn't matter. Did not matter. You guys just have different sets of rules for me. I just have to get used to that. Dartboard jumped in for $9.99. Thank you, Dartboard. Doctors have a duty to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. I'd argue the journalism community has the same duty.
What you need to hear, not what you want to hear. I don't think.
It's not about what you need. It's just our job is to report what's happening and then add context of why it's happening. But like need to hear, want to hear, that's super subjective. What you think someone needs to hear, I can assure you, need is super subjective.
I mean, we need to ask quality questions, but at the end of the day, the person who's being asked a question has the choice of how they want to answer it. It's why, the most interesting thing when people ask me to do I want you to ask questions, this and that. I'm like, well, what answer is really going to make an impact for you on Saturdays when it counts? Like, is there a thing that I'm going to ask him and he's going to say, you know what, man? All right, I actually never thought about that. You're saying the offensive line should block better? Oh, wow. Well, I tell you what, now that you said that, they're going to have a meeting with Kyle Flood. We're going to organize this. Damn it, man. Thanks for pointing that out. Thank you for all the fans who have pointed that out to me. I didn't realize it, but we're on it this week. We've got your back, Longhorn Nation. I mean, it doesn't mean you don't ask a question, but sometimes people have to get realistic expectations of what the questions and the answers are really going to be.
All right. ATX Bates, I'm going to let you end the show with us today because we haven't talked about this, but we'll spend just a couple of minutes before we wrap up circling back on the NFL article thing. I hadn't thought of this, ATX Bates. It is not the worst conspiracy theory I've heard on this. Neto was the source for the Sark NFL article. It wasn't even an article, though. It was just a blurb.
Yeah.
Hence the doghouse, my Chipotle guy, what clicked in the fourth quarter that got the offense rolling. Sense of urgency, like desperation on war.
Yeah. I mean, the punt return helped. That helped. They definitely got some momentum. I thought, as good. Look, I thought Texas played extremely well. I also thought Mississippi State did some boneheaded things in addition to that. So I think it was a perfect combination, a perfect storm. And once that momentum got going, Texas was hard to stop at that point. So that's the main thing. Now, how do you do that?
Do you think Arch and the offense would have scored the game-tying touchdown if Niblett doesn't take it back to the house?
I don't know.
I think I think there's an assumption they would have, and I think the real answer is who knows.
Yeah, I don't know that for sure. I don't know again why you kicked to him though. That's why I don't understand. Like, and it's fine if you're Texas. If you want to play that game, what they say, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. If you want to play that game, go ahead and kick to that guy. But I don't know who on special teams was like, yo, game's on the line. I know we just saw this recently on tape, but let's just go ahead and kick that to that guy and take our chances. Okay. Well, that was smart.
Give me 60 seconds on the NFL story thing. What's still in your brain now that it's Monday?
Okay. So I'm still from a reporter thing, right? So my viewpoint's more from a reporter than a fan. Somebody had to tell her something that she believed. Like, I don't know. I don't think she sought this out, right? I don't think she sought out. Why would Steve Sarkisian be on her radar, right? So I don't believe she sought this thing out. If she had it buried in a story on Friday, we talked about this, you and I did. She had it buried in a story on Friday, and then on Saturday morning, decided, you know what, I need to make this into a separate, because it doesn't need to be buried in here, right? Then there's something, so somebody went back to her and encouraged her to do this. I don't know who it is, right? But I feel like there's been, just knowing how this business goes, there was a nudging of like, hey, you need to do this and do this well. Where it came from, we'll never know, right? Did it come from, we could guess. Did it come from Tennessee? Did it come from somebody else in the NFL out of the owners' meetings? Did someone from CAA who wasn't supposed to leak it to her, and then they kind of have to walk this thing back? Don't know what it is that it is. I would say the only thing I want to say on it is that I think Sark, when he said like all the media ran with it and reported it as truth, I don't feel like that happened. I feel like people said, this is what this person's reporting.
Right.
I don't feel like everybody was like, here's the next 5 candidates to replace Sark. Like, that didn't happen. Like, the report got out there. It happens. I don't believe it's 100% coincidence, because somebody with I just don't feel like someone on a national scale catch does something like that without feeling like she had it from someone really good. But the easiest thing to do is to bury the reporter, and the reporter she can't say, well, the person who told me is this person, and they were like, oh. Because, and last thing I'll say on this catch, well, that I'm not going to say it. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, thing I keep coming back to is that Deanna Rossini did not wake up on Saturday morning and say, you know what I need? Because I'm going to chase a little bit of clout. I need to risk like my integrity and my reputation, as if as a woman, these aren't things that she has to do on a daily basis. Let me just throw something in my report that is so unimportant to me that it doesn't show up in the first 2,000 words of my story. But let me risk my weekend, because I gotta chase that clout. She just doesn't need it. Like, people are like, who's Deanna Rossini? It's like, oh, the woman that broke the Michael Parsons trade story. Oh, so she breaks stories and stuff. Mm-hmm. She works at The Athletic as like an NFL person. Mm-hmm. What did she do before that? Oh, she was a reporter at ESPN, like one of their top reporters. Oh, so not like a ambulance chaser. No, I wouldn't say that that's generally her reputation.
And she's on the sidelines of Fox NFL.
No, she's just. There's no motivation for her. That story did nothing. Do you know how little of a ripple in NFL circles reporting that Steve Sarkisian, on a scale of 1 to 10 on the scoop level, it's a 1. Because it's not Steve Sarkisian wants a job. It's not Steve Sarkisian has interviewed with a team. It's not any of the things that would bump that up all the way to the top, which is so-and-so's the next head coach of the so-and-so. It's at an agency where you're just kind of floating around that, like, hey, play footsie with us maybe if you're into playing footsie. It's such a nothing thing. There's nothing in it for her. There's no gain. So why did it happen? And I don't know. All of my questions usually come down to, I've been asked for favors before. I've been asked crazy favors before. One of the craziest favors that I won't get into specifics, but once had somebody who was really upset that Longhorn fans had done something. Really upset. And they felt like a person that was involved in this story was like, they deserved an apology and for the truth to be told. And I agreed with that person. But I couldn't make that the lead of my 10 thoughts for the weekend, or people would have been like, what the hell, Catch? Why, of all the obscure things in the world, did you worry about that? So I ended up putting it like number 5 or number 6 in my list of 10 thoughts. And then that person saw that, and their reaction was, that was really good. But I think you should have had it elevated higher up in the article. Can you go tweet about it? That's how this works. You throw a little something in there. You know it's good because of wherever it's coming from. It's never enough. Somebody always wants a little bit extra. Can you go put it on social media? Can you just go do this? Anwar's right. We won't know who that person was. But Rossini said nothing about this, and I don't think she will. It was a nothing thing for her. But somebody owes her ass because this thing got set up so that the only thing that really happened by the end of Saturday night was that she got trampled by a coach in a press conference and a press, like, an agency's press statement, which, to be fair, was pretty radically unique. That never happens. So it was kind of a what? Jimmy Sexton's agency put out a note. Okay, I guess that's emphatic enough about this. And then Sark went on his little bit of a thing after the post game. I don't know, man. I don't think it matters ultimately. It just, I think, is a sign that, like, there's some stressful shit going on at Texas. The season's not been easy. This doesn't happen if they're 6-0 instead of 4-2 going into that game. And sometimes the best thing for everybody to do, take a deep breath, put your head on a pillow, go to sleep, wake up the next morning, and do everybody a favor. Just forget it that happened. Just forget it happened. Because if you keep asking questions, you're going to end up getting to a place where you get some answers that you probably didn't want in the first place. So, Texas fans, y'all just need to leave Deanna Rossini alone. Deanna Rossini, I think, wants to go away. She's ready to do something else. And I just think everybody give everybody some grace in this. It's been a tense season. Believe me, Anwar and I know it. So let's just cut everybody some slack. And I'm okay with pretending like it never happened, Anwar.
I would just say this, Catch. I'm gonna allude to something without maybe this is an off-camera thing, but remember during the Charlie Strong era, there was kind of a story out there, and it made big headlines. You and I both know where it came from. Like, sometimes people like deny stuff. Anyway, I'm just gonna leave it like that. There are a few more super chats came in, and then let's just knock those out. And
I'm just saying, sometimes, guys, you guys don't want to know. Y'all don't. I promise you, every single time. By the way, I'm looking. I guess I'll hit the pin section. What do we? All right, hold on. Let me see. I see Buck Wild for $10 said, I know Wingo had a big stat game, but am I the only one who's getting tired of his bad plays? I know there has to be anyone on the bench who can catch a slant route. Emmett better than Wingo. Buck, you're doing it too now. Oh, the backup has to be better than the starter. There's no evidence of that. Now, look, Ryan's got to catch the ball, man. Got to catch the ball. Just like Arch has got to put the ball in the money. They're doing this thing where they alternate every other week, and sometimes they do it together, and it's really, really bad. Everybody on that team's got to get better. But look, they keep going to Ryan Wingo because they ain't got nobody else like him, for better or worse. 12 targets, 5 catches. 5 catches, 3 drops. 184 yards receiving, though. They don't win that game with him, and they almost lost it with him. They don't win without him, but they almost lost it with him, and maybe in part because of him. That is what this team keeps doing. Darian for $9.99 said, poor Catch is going to have to eat at least 10 enchiladas for the Georgia game, maybe 5 for Vandy. No, I'm going to eat 1. That's got to be enough. Otherwise, it's not the enchiladas. So, Darian, just so you know, no, that's not going to happen. In the event that anybody wonders, I'm not eating 10 enchiladas. No, I've worked too hard to just give all this up for some enchiladas and potentially. Anwar knows my reverse jinx powers are legendary in fantasy football circles. You guys just need to trust that I know what I'm doing here. Mark Anthony says, if we fall behind 21-0, does Sark change the quarterback? Probably, right?
I mean, I guess if you're talking about 21-0 in the first quarter, potentially. But I like KJ Lacey, so I like him a lot. So I'm cool with it. Quite honest with you, whatever happens, you know,
I almost would rather play KJ Lacey for 4 quarters than Matthew Caldwell. But
I think I would rather him get the reps for, you know, going into next season, quite honest with you, than but it is, if he feels like Matthew Cole was a veteran and has seen a little bit more, so be it. But I mean, I think KJ Lacey sets you up for, I think, success this game and future success. Just my opinion.
Money B, yes, I was. I just don't know why y'all won't leave me alone, man. Like people could see I was pissed. I was keeping to myself. I wasn't bothering a soul. I can hear all the little chatter behind me. You just have to know how that fucking infuriated me. I'm sitting right there. It was rude. All right. And on that note, it wasn't you, Money B, but you know what I'm talking about. Michael says, I would like to see, did I click on that? Lacey and Caldwell, Vandy won't know what to do. Might not just be Vandy, Michael. Could be everybody at that point if you're alternating quarterbacks. Look, guys, Onwar's got to go. RogueShop.com. Use that promo code OrangeBloods. It's right there at the top of the screen. Don't be silly. Use it. Get your discount. Get some product that's going to make your life a little bit better. You sleep a little bit better. You have a little bit less anxiety. Your pets could be happy. Your grandpa could be happier. This has been the Overreaction Monday show. We've tried not to overreact too much, but